What is going on, guys? It's Randy here, back for week number 10 of the Pokemon Global Battle League. This week, we are taking on MrChabry, coach of the Kentucky Typhlosions. Now, if you guys don't know who he is, now he's somebody that probably isn't very known in the draft league community, at least. He does a lot of battles and stuff like that, but I don't really see him in many other draft leagues at all, so I do encourage you to check him out. He brings some of the wackiest stuff, man, and today is no exception. So I definitely recommend you give him a look and watch his stuff. So, out of respect, of course, a great person. Of course, coming off last week, we did pick up a nice solid win against Leo and his Druddigons. So, I apologize about getting week 8 up extremely late. So, I had week 9 go up before week 8. And that's just because Leo and I scheduled a time, and I just wasn't able to get week 8 before that. So, it's not anyone's fault. I'm the one that's really slacking on that. So that'll have been up already by the time this video goes up. But I actually did spoil that result at the end of week 9's video. So if you guys haven't checked out week 8, I recommend you do. I'm not going to say what happened. All I'm going to say is somebody fell into a hole early, and then there was a comeback. That's all I'm going to say about it. But of course, make sure you check out Chabry. Of course, Kentucky actually is the defending Eastern Conference champion, so they were the finalists last year. So, definitely not an easy team. Like I said, this is pretty much a rough schedule going back to even week 5, because we had Josh week 5, Sneaky week 6, and Josh week 7, Hannonz week 8, Leo week 9, Chabry week 10, and then, of course, next week we got Vizually and Cincy Scizors. So a very, very rough schedule, rough part of the schedule, but we're looking pretty good. The standings in the West are pretty one-sided. There's only it's a 2-man race for the number 1 seed. And then from there, it kind of drops off. So we're pretty much almost guaranteed a lock for playoffs, as long as we don't. I think we are locked already, to be honest. I won't show the standings yet, only because it spoils week 8. But I'm pretty sure we're in, no matter what. So at this point, it's kind of just hoping we can take the 1 seed, because I want the 1 seed again, because we were the regular season win leaders last season. So I want to take that, that crown once again. But, 2 seeds always cool. So anyways, we have our team here leading the way. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and go over Chabry's team. My bad. Kind of jumping to conclusions. So, excuse me. So we have Mega Scizor leading the way. Tapu Fini, Crocodile, Pelipper, Jolteon, Kingdra, Typhlosion, which is one of the Zmon users, Vileplume, Dragonite, other Zmon user, and Quagsire. So, something to note about his team. You guys won't know this, but his team is actually extremely similar to what he drafted last season. He had Mega Scizor last season. He had Typhlosion last season. He had Dragonite last season. I don't think he had Quagsire, but I don't know. But yeah, those 3 are the main 3 I remember. I had Tapu Fini, so obviously that's different. So it's a pretty solid fire. Steel Dragon Fairy Core. Fini, Dragonite, and Mega Scizor are actually really, really threatening as a core, because not only are they great defensively, synergy-wise, but they're great offensively. They're great legitimate sweepers in their SD Dragon Dance and Calm Mind set. So, sorry about that. I still have some stuff in my throat. But, stuff I have to worry about. It's kind of a whack team. He's got a rain mode, but he has Typhlosion as well. So, honestly, I don't know what to expect from him to bring. I do expect Scizor. I expect his full, his core, Scizor, Fini, Dragonite. Dragonite, those three on paper, if they're played right, can definitely destroy my entire draft. Luckily, I do have Trick Room, which kind of helps out with that, but something like Mega Scizor doesn't care. You can just go for Bullet Punch, so gotta watch out for that. I can't let those mons ever get free turns on me, so I definitely have the movesets to keep those things in check. And then everything else, like the Rain Core, isn't too bad. I do have Ninetales on my roster, as well as some slow Trick Room modes to counter that. But it's Chabry. This man, he brings some wild stuff, and I can't wait to show you guys this battle. So, leading the way this week, we have Harry Mama once again. She's came to almost every match this season, just because it's its typing is fantastic and its coverage is insane as well, and Trick Room as well. So Flame Orb set once again. Now he does have a Fini, so this could be a little bit risky. Could be a little bit hard to get up. So that's something to keep in mind with that. But Poison Jab, CC, Thunder Punch, Ice Punch. Thunder Punch, of course, is for the Pelipper to one-shot that thing in Trick Room. CC is just great, spammable against his team. Not the greatest. It's only there really for the Scizor and the Crocodile. And I guess for stuff like Jolteon and Kingdra. But besides that, Ice Punch is there for Vileplume, Dragonite. And Thunder Punch, of course, is there for Fini, Pelipper. Poison Jab does the same thing. Not too sure why I have Poison Jab when I I really don't need Poison Jab. I probably could have squeezed in like Fire Punch to make sure I one-shot Scizor, but maybe there's something I'm missing on here. Now, I'm pretty sure Jab is only for Finny, so probably could have afforded to run, just run some other move instead of Jab. But anyways, that's fine. But of course, max attack, max health, pretty much. I mean, not max health. It's like mixed in defenses, I'm pretty sure. So that's a pretty, pretty clean set against them. Well, of course, I have to get out Trick Room for this thing to do work, so that's obviously the case there. Next up, we have Thundurus. Same kind of set we've been running the past couple of weeks, except we're running Hidden Power Ice, of course. Z Focus Blast is there to be able to get a for sure kill on that Crocodile. I mean, and of course, it can also help out with, I guess, that Jolteon as well, because it does that Volt Absorb. But, of course, this Mon is a legitimate sweeper. Jolteon probably will show up for this reason, just to be able to check this thing, keep it in check defensively. Maybe Scarf Crocodile could be coming just to go for, like, Scarf Stone Edge or whatever the case may be. Something that does worry me a little bit is this weakness policy, Dragonite. So if I ever don't have a nasty plot up and he's in on me, I probably will have to just not break his scale, because he does carry weakness policy a lot. He did it last season too. So if it wasn't for a certain move I had on Pinsir, I probably would have lost that game. So also, just a side note about the video: if you see lagging in the video camera, I'm not sure what that is. Probably gonna look into that, but sometimes it just kind of lags out, so just keep that in mind. But anyway, so yeah, it's a legitimate win con, as long as I don't have trigger about put this thing up. So Thundurus has been great all season. It's been coming in clutch last couple of games, so hopefully it continues that late season push for, I guess, MVP or whatever. So next up, we have Mew running a very, very bulky set, max HP, max special attack. I did actually have Quiet Nature on this thing before, but I opted not to do that because I kind of wanted to be faster. That way I can have a slow U-turn, if you will, in Trick Room. So while the original builder had Quiet, no speed, I did change that to Modest with speed. No, it doesn't have any speed investment, but it's not like zero IV, so it's still somewhat fast, but it's definitely going to be slower than his Mons in Trick Room. So Trick Room, Ice Beam, Flamethrower, and U-turn. I needed Ice Beam to make sure that damn Dragonite didn't set up on me. Flamethrower, of course, is for Scizor. I can't touch Finny, but I mean, Trick Room U-turn's all I got. So this is probably the only Mon on a team that doesn't let Finny set up for free. So, I gotta be careful with this, but it's my only Trick Room setter. It's only my second Trick Room setter. But Mew's there just to have that coverage to be able to stop his or check his sweeper. So Mew, not too great of a matchup with this set specifically. I did think about running like an expert belt, like 4 attack set, or 3 attacks roost, but this ended up being the case because I needed another Trick Room setter, so that ended up being the case here. So next up, we have Kurama Ninetales coming in, having a great season for me. I really don't expect a Mon with like such like with this one trick pony kind of thing to do so much work, because it's this great. It actually has a pretty decent offensive typing as well as this support. So I do have leftovers on this thing because I felt like Aurora wasn't going to be helpful at all in this game, because I don't know, he has his own weather, and I haven't really clicked Aurora all season that much, so it hasn't really been that big of a factor all season. So I mean, this set probably doesn't make sense. I have Hidden Power Fire on this thing, but if I want to do that, I should either have Babiri Berry or a Focus Sash. But so I don't know why I have leftovers on this thing. Probably won't make a big of a deal of a difference if he's able to get a Brox with something like his Crocodile, which is only Rock Setter. So that's kind of interesting to note. Of course, Encore is there to stop his Finny, maybe even his Dragonite. But maybe not Dragonite, because Dragonite can just kill me with like an Iron Head or something. So it's just there to stop stuff like Vileplume, not Vileplume, but Quagsire, Crocodile maybe, and Finny, of course. So there's that with the Ninetales. Moonblast, Freeze Dry, just coverage for everything else. So really self-explanatory with that set. So next up, we have Shaman running a bit of a bulkier set. This set, of course, does somewhat check that Finny, somewhat checks the Crocodile, and somewhat checks the what is it? I'm going to say. I mean, it countered to Quagsire. I was able to check the Quagsire, so it was important to bring this thing. And I have Freeze Dry on my Ninetales. So Seed Flare, Hidden Power Fire, Dazzling Gleam, and Healing Wish. Healing Wish would be very, very nice to heal up something like my Thundurus or even my Hairy Mama, which doesn't make the most sense, but it could be very useful, I feel like. So Healing Wish is just there to be able to have that option. But Shaman actually has a pretty decent matchup offensively if I can weaken that Scizor and get rid of the Dragonite, of course. So that's kind of the case there. Dazzling Gleam isn't really all that helpful. I probably could have squeezed in something like I don't know what other move, but like Dicing Whip isn't all that helpful. I know it hits Dragonite and Kingdra, but Dragonite probably doesn't care about that, and this gets a weakness policy boost. But if it's you know, its multi-scale is broken, it could be helpful. So we don't know for sure how that's gonna work. But Shaman hasn't really been used all that much this season, so hopefully it can do some work in this game. And finally, we have Return to Slab, the Koffagrigus running Trick Room, Shadow Ball, Hidden Power Fighting, and the Nasty Plot. Of course, very self-explanatory moveset, standard set really. Max HP, max special attack, Hidden Power Fire is there to hit that Crocodile. So that is actually going to be the team. No clear-cut win con, at least in my opinion, besides maybe my Thundurus and Harry Mama. But otherwise, it's kind of be just kind of an improvised game because depending on what kind of style of team he brings will determine how I play it. Now, it's probably clear cut to you guys that you can see, okay, he's probably going to bring his sweepers, his core, Mega Scizor, Finny, Dragonite, but they don't necessarily have to be sweepers. Finny could be specs, Finny could be just defensive support, it doesn't have to be Calm Mind or anything like that. Dragonite could be Banded, we don't know. And Scizor could be Defog for all we know. So it kind of depends on what the other three can be. He could bring his Rain mode, he could bring maybe his like I don't know, maybe his Vileplume or something. I don't know what he could possibly bring besides that. So it's definitely going to play off of that. So, you know, with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the actual battle and see what happened here. Alright, opening up this verse recorder. I feel like such a noob, like not editing this kind of stuff out. But, hey man, I don't really care. So, here we are at the team preview. As you can see here, he's bringing the Tapu Fini, the Typhlosion, the Mega Scizor, the Kingdra, the Crocodile, and the PELIPPER. So at first, I'm a little bit surprised he didn't bring Dragonite, but I mean, I could probably make the case for him not bringing it, but you know, I figured he would just bring the core, just to bring the core. So, he opted to bring his Rain core along with his, you know, his Fairy and Dragon, Fairy and Steel. And he still has the Dragon and Kingdra, so I guess that the core is still intact. But he opted to bring Crocodile, which kind of was a little bit iffy, in my opinion. But I suppose it does help take out that Mew and the Koffagrigus, because if he didn't have Crocodile, all he had was a Scizor for the Mew, and he definitely needs to go for U-turn to kill Mew, and I do have a potential to have a fire move, so I guess it was a good bring on his part. So it could probably be maybe like an Assault Vest set, or I guess like a Chople, or you know, Roselli Berry. We don't know for sure yet, but Mew definitely would have more than one coverage move, like Ice Beam, maybe to hit Crocodile. So not sure what it could be. Probably Scarf, maybe, you know, just to be able to check Thundurus, maybe even Ninetales as well. Although Scarf probably isn't the best to hurt Shaman, so we don't know. It could be Scarf Moxie, we don't know. So he brings Typhlosion, which is a bit interesting to me, seeing as how he has the Rain. So this is where I talk about, you know, Chabry bringing some whack stuff, because if he's ever bringing in Typhlosion on the Rain, with the Rain up, it's not going to be very helpful at all. So it's a bit of a riskier bring on his part, but if Rain's not up, look at my switch-ins to a Scarf Eruption. There's none. There's actually no switch-in. Like, I don't have thick, fat Hariyama, so that's actually not a bad bring on his part, but it is a little bit risky on his part. And then, of course, we see the Rain. You know, probably self-explanatory. Damp Rock Pelipper, maybe even Scarf Pelipper to throw me off. And then, of course, probably Life Orb or Specs Kingdra. So I figured the best lead for me in this matchup was going to be the Thundurus, because Thundurus pretty much abuses every kind of lead, because it outruns his entire squad, bar Scarf Pokemon. If he wants to lead something like Scizor, he can't really touch me, so I can get up a Nasty Plot. If he leads Pelipper, he's not going to stay in. If he leads Finny, he's not going to stay in. You know, so it's going to be my safest lead, I felt like. So let's go ahead and jump into this game. And again, I do apologize about the lagging camera. I got to look into that and see how I can fix it. It's a new webcam. It's a newer webcam, so got to look into that. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into this battle. It's a good one. So I do lead Thundurus, as I said. I just said it right now. So he does actually lead with Finny, which is great for me, because this means I can get up a free plot. Free Nasty Plot. If he wants to go for Calm Mind, he is not going to beat me. If he specs Moonblast, then, well, I just got played. So may have been a riskier, you know, play on my part, not knowing what he might have. And, you know, my good friend Lindamar always says never predict turn 1, so I probably could just went for a T-Bolt. But he does actually go for Taunt, which was a little weird to me. I guess he figured he'd be faster for some reason, or I don't know. I guess he didn't want me to get up another Nasty Plot or something like that, or I'm not too sure. But he does actually stay in and sacks off Finny. Now, to you guys, that might kind of be a weird play because he had Crocodile, but seeing as how his only way he was going to kill me was a Scarf Pokemon, he would have to have sacked him on anyway, so sacking Finny, I guess, was his best play for him. So he brings in Typhlosion. Obviously, it's Scarf because he brought it in, and Eruption doesn't actually knock me out. With a little extra bulk I had invested, I was guaranteed to live, so I go for my +2 Thunderbolt, and it actually lives, which is like whack. Like, I don't know how the hell he lived at +2 Thunderbolt from Thundurus, but I did find out later on in the game he was actually near max HP, if not max HP. So max HP Scarf, and he pretty much outrun my entire squad, which is, the kind of bad thing about having such a slow team. So we do pick up 2 kills early on in the game with Thundurus. Thundurus is putting in some work, so I end up sacking out my Thundurus here to the Bullet Punch. So, I mean, I don't really think I was going to be able to do anything with it anyway. I mean, I probably could have, because knowing what I know now about his team, so probably could have saved this. But if Scizor ever came in, it was always going to force me out. So I'm going to end up sacking my Thundurus. I could have went into my Cofagrigus, but, it is what it is. So Thundurus does go down, and I really don't have a way to one-shot this thing, so I felt that Cofagrigus was the best play, because now that Terrain's gone, I can probably scare him out with a Will-O-Wisp. So here, I just end up going for the Trick Room, I believe. That way I can get up my Trick Room and start nasty plotting, and, having a potential to actually sweep this game because of what he has left on his squad. The only thing I can take a hit, obviously, is the Crocodile, who's AV or something like that. So obviously I want to get the thing low, for potentially Mew, or I don't know, Ninetale, I guess. So he just going to Pelipper here, and this is where I just I lose it, man. Like, this is where I just, like, I don't know, dude. Like, this is crazy though. You gotta watch this. So Trick Room is up. I can go for a free Shadow Ball. I'm Quiet Nature max special attack. This Pelipper is not really going to be that great, especially defensively, as you all know its stats. So I go for the Shadow Ball, but this man outruns me, telling me this dude's running Iron Ball Pelipper, dude. Iron Ball? Are you kidding? Iron Ball. Like, who does that, man? Like, who runs that kind of stuff? Only Chabry, man. Chabry's a beast. So we do drop a special defenses, which is very useful. But Iron Ball Pelipper, dude, like, that's whack. But I say it's whack, but it's actually not a bad bring on my team, because think about it. These are my Trick Room sweepers, my main Trick Room sweepers. Mega Camerupt, Sakataka, Araquanid, Hariyama, Drampa, and Cofagrigus. All of those, like, lose to a Pelipper. Like, Camerupt gets killed by Water Move. Sakataka, Water Move. Araquanid, Hurricane. Hariyama, Hurricane. Drampa's the only one that can probably take a hit from it, for sure. And then Cofagrigus does not appreciate these Water Moves, as you can tell. So it actually made some sense. So now I'm thinking here, okay, I got to stall out Trick Room now. I know it's kind of weird for me to say that, but I have to stall out Trick Room. So I do go into Mew, because Mew is the only Pokemon that can take a hit, like, comfortably. So I do end up going straight for the Ice Beam as he goes into his Crocodile. And we do some good damage to this Crocodile, revealing he definitely is not Assault Vest. He's probably either Choice Scarf or Choice Band. We don't know for sure. So I do end up going straight for Ice Beam again, and I actually do outrun him. So he probably could have been running a bit of a bulkier set, like a slower set. I am modest with no speed, so I'm not sure what kind of spread he could have been running. So Mew picks up a surprise kill there, at least to me, and he goes back into his Pelipper. I know I'm faster than this, but I figured he might try to go into his Scizor. So I believe here I go for U-turn, thinking it would kill his Pelipper, and that way, if in case he went Scizor, that would cover it. But U-turn did no damage. I think he had Intimidate on his Crocodile. That's probably why. So that's kind of a bad play on my part. But I do go into my Kurama, as he makes a pretty good play here, and I believe he goes straight for the U-turn. That way he can get a slow U-turn off into his sweepers. So he does go into U-turn here, and luckily after leftovers, I'll be back at full. But I don't have a Sash or a Berry, so not like it would have mattered anyway. So he goes right into Scizor here. I decided that it was in my best interest to go for the Hidden Power Fire, because even though he has his Pelipper still back there, I couldn't risk him getting up an SD for free. So I decided to make the play. I made the call to go for Hidden Power Fire. He just go for the Bullet Punch straight up and just knocks out my Kurama. So that's kind of bad, because now he can get up Rain and I can't stop it. But the only good thing is about this is that I get a free switch into my my Mew, and the thing is, Pelipper's Iron Ball, so he's not getting 8 turns of Rain, and he's very slow, so he's slower than my entire squad. So Trick Room is never getting back up again, because I need my Shaman and Hariyama to be able to kill this damn Pelipper, so I'm not Trick Rooming this game. So I didn't go for the Ice Beam here with my my Mew. I'll go for Flamethrower, because I don't want to risk. So I go for Flamethrower here. Doesn't kill the Pelipper, which is actually the best thing here, because that burns an extra turn of range. So I do go for the U-turn here. Now I get a free switch into my Shaman, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I believe I'm going to Hariyama, one of the two. I don't remember which one I went into, because I know that I probably do have to end up pivoting into my Mew no matter what, because right now Hariyama and Shaman are important, whereas Mew really can't do that much right now. So he does go into Kingdra here. And I don't know anything about it yet. It's probably Specs or Life Orb. So I said, screw this, man. I'm going straight into Mew. I'm going to Shaman. I'm going to Shaman as he goes for his Surf. Well, I guess it even makes sense because I'm a grass type, right? But he goes for Surf here. And that Surf did a crap ton of damage. So I'm thinking that Spec, seeing as how I have a lot of bulk on the Shaman. So now this is kind of where the game comes down to right here. I go for Seed Flare. He goes right into Mega Scizor. If I drop his Spadef right here, I'm pretty sure I pretty much win the game 100%. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit interesting to see what happens on this turn. So I go for Seed Flare, and I actually do get the Spadef drop. 40% chance, man. I don't know. I'm just hacking poor Chabry. And, you know, it wasn't like the biggest deal, I feel like, but it could have made it a lot more interesting late game. So I do go for the Hidden Power Fire. Granted, I'm not fully invested, but of course it still does knock it out because I'm pretty sure Hidden Power, like the Spadef drop, pretty much neutralizes the rain. So we do end up knocking out the Scizor, and at this point, without rain, Kingdra is not going to sweep this team because it doesn't have the firepower to do so. So here, goes back into Kingdra. I'm just going to click Dazzling Gleam. I don't want to risk my Seed Flare missing, but I should have went for it anyway. I mean, I'm real as hell, right? So this is about half, right about half to his Kingdra. It goes for the Specs Ice Beam, for as what I like to believe for it to be. And it does actually OHKO with a crit. Probably did matter, maybe. I'm not sure. I mean, it's Ice Beam. But I don't know. Not like it mattered, but differential-wise, it couldn't have mattered. So, do go to Harry Mama here. I expect him to be Specs. So that's why I went to Harry Mama, and I do go straight for the CC on his Specs. Ice Beam does a pretty good amount of damage, so definitely is Specs, as we all confirmed it earlier. And we do pick up the nice 2-0 victory against Chabry and his Iron Ball PELIPPER offense, bro, or like bulky offense, or whatever you want to call it. But fun game, you know, good game to Chabry. But yeah, like I said, let me elaborate more on that late game kind of situation. Once PELIPPER came in, or once I sacked it, or once I switched right into Shaman on the Kingdra, you know, he didn't want to sack Kingdra. He just wanted to, you know, sack his. I mean, he probably should have sacked Kingdra at that point, honestly, because it wasn't going to do much for him, you know, at that point. I probably think he was better off getting damage off on Shaman, because if he gets the damage off on Shaman, then Scizor can kill it with Bullet Punch after, potentially. I'm not sure what HP I would have been at. And then from there, it might be a little bit interesting. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure what he could have done to win the game. But, like, I just think that, like, if I didn't get the Spadef drop, then I can't kill him with HP Fire. He can go for U-turn. And then from there, Shaman goes down. Scizor is low. Actually, I probably could have won the game regardless. So I'm not sure why it was so important in my head at the time. So maybe I was just tripping. So, anyways, good game. Iron Ball PELIPPER, dude. Like, I don't know, man. Like, that was wild. Like, when I saw it in game and I was playing, I was like, wait, why the hell is he faster? I'm like, oh shoot, Iron Ball. And it made sense. Mega Camera, like I said, Mega Camera, Stack Attack, Raquinate, Hariyama, Drampo, Cofagrigus. Now, granted, Drampo does have Cloud 9, so like that's the only mon that I guess checks his PELIPPER, and I do have potential to have T-Bolt as well. So, but besides that, it pretty much does do a lot to my Trick Room Sweepers. So, it was a really cool breeding on his end. You know, some early game Thunderous, you know, tearing up probably ultimately to seal the deal. Because having Finny around late game probably could have helped him out a little bit. But anyways, good game to Chabry. That helps the Rangers move to a record that I won't say out loud because, well, actually, I'll say it now because if you guys haven't seen the battle yet, then, you know, you guys can go check that out week 8. But we are sitting at 8-2 record, so really good record now. I believe we're tied for number 1 in the West, depending on how Josh does this week. So next week we have the Cincy Scizors, coached by Vizually. He does a lot of Citra battles, man. He does a lot of battles, so he's definitely a very seasoned battler. So it'll be a tough matchup for him. He's a crazy team as well, pretty solid team. And yeah, with only 2 weeks left in the season, hopefully the Rangers can finish with a 10-2 record. That'd be nice, and then hopefully make a push for playoffs. Yeah, it's been a great season so far. Having a lot of fun with this Trick Room, and Mew's been a lot of fun to work with, man. I haven't even scratched the surface of what he could do yet, but you know, Mew's been a lot of fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed this season so far, and hopefully I stay on track the rest of the season. XBL semifinal should be up, or should have been up already, or I'm not sure what it'll be up, but you know, be on the lookout for that. Week 9 just didn't happen because, you know, scheduling stuff, so, and that was on me. So nonetheless, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch y'all next week. Go Rangers.